All right, so welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're looking into Rudy Giuliani.
Okay.
It seems like he's always in the news for one reason or another,
Yeah, seems like it.
but this time it's about his Florida condo and World Series rings.
Oh, wow. Interesting combination.
It's not exactly what I'd expect to see together.
Yeah, you don't hear about those two things together very often.
So what's the story here? What's going on with Giuliani and these assets?
Well, basically, he reached a legal settlement,
Okay.
and it looks like part of that settlement involved his condo and those World Series rings.
So he used them to settle a legal issue. I mean,
Yeah.
I get that a settlement avoids a trial,
Right.
but what does it actually mean, like,
hmm
practically?
Think of it like this.
Yeah.
You and a neighbor are arguing over a fence.
All right.
Instead of going to court, you both agree to compromise. Maybe you split the cost of a new fence, or one of you agrees to move it back a bit.
I see. So it's like finding a solution without the whole
Mhm.
court battle.
Exactly. And that solution often involves some kind of exchange. And that's where assets come in.
Assets being things like property and money.
Yeah, exactly. Anything of value a person owns, like
Yeah.
your house, your car, savings accounts, even those rare baseball cards you might have tucked away.
So those are all considered assets.
Yep. And in a settlement, those assets can be used to bargain and reach an agreement.
So in Giuliani's case, it seems like his condo and those World Series rings were part of that whole bargaining process.
That's what it looks like, although
Right.
we don't know all the details, but it
Yeah.
really makes you think about the different kinds of assets out there.
Different kinds.
Yeah, like some assets are considered liquid,
Liquid meaning.
meaning they're easily converted to cash, like money in a bank account.
Okay.
But then you've got illiquid assets like real estate.
Or even those World Series rings.
Exactly. Those can be a lot harder to put an exact value on, and they definitely take longer to turn into cash.
So why would someone use something like a World Series ring to settle a legal issue? Is that common?
Well, every case is different,
Yeah.
but using these less straightforward assets in settlements,
Yeah.
it happens. Sometimes it's about using what you've got to make a deal.
Okay.
Other times it could be strategic.
Mm.
You know, maybe someone wants to protect certain assets and is willing to give up others.
I see. But something else I noticed in the article was that he still had a court appearance.
Mm,
If everything was settled, why even go to court?
that's a good point. Even with a settlement, there's usually a final court appearance. It's kind of like getting an official stamp of approval.
Okay.
The judge looks over the agreement, makes sure everything's legal and fair,
Mm.
and then makes it official. So it's binding.
So it's not as simple as shaking hands and walking away.
Nope. There's a whole legal process.
Gee, that makes me wonder, how do they even put a value on an asset like that? Especially something with sentimental value.
Mm.
Those World Series rings, I mean, is it all about the money or is there more to it?
That's the question, isn't it? Sometimes the value goes way beyond just dollars and cents.
So we've got Rudy Giuliani using some pretty interesting assets to settle a legal matter. It involved negotiation and ultimately a judge's approval. And it all raises a fascinating question. How do we measure the true value of an asset, especially when you factor in things like sentimental value?
It's a complex issue. There's no easy answer.
And it's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. We'll be back soon to explore something else.
Sounds good.
Until then, keep asking those questions and stay curious.